In each of our lives and in each of our organizations, there are watershed moments, times when you put a stake in the ground and say, look, now is the time to rethink what we already know. This is important. Let's get to work. These moments of change require us to envision a preferred future and understand why it matters to have a strong foundation on which to build and to use the right materials and the right processes. These actions are key to surviving and ultimately thriving in times of upheaval. We have all had and will continue to have turning points like these in our lives, births and deaths in our family, job changes, and more. And every organization also has these moments of truth, change, transition, and opportunity. With the onset of COVID-19 around the world and its continued presence in our lives, everyone has faced such moments these past 2 years. As if the pandemic weren't enough, the social unrest in the US and around the world and the immense political turbulence we have experienced have thrown us all off balance. Together, but alone, we have faced isolation, the fear of a devastating virus, juggling work and life from home, the disappearance of jobs, projects put on hold, and for millions of people, illness and death. This pandemic upended what we know about life, community, and work. We have turned to things that ground us, things that feel familiar, and that we have relied on the past, our core and our foundation. For many of us in this room, we have turned to our families, and we have turned to our CSI community, just as we did in 2008 during the Great Recession. As journalist Elizabeth Fishel has written, we are each other's reference points at our turning points.
At CSI, knowing our foundation is solid, we realized that this particular moment in history could accelerate innovation, reinvention, and renewal. We also know that to achieve those things, we first needed to acknowledge the history of our organization, to honor what has served as the foundation for what we will build next with all of you. These are times that call on us to rise up to meet the changing needs of society and to rewrite the terms of engagement. But we cannot do that without celebrating the proud history of what CSI is and has been. A research study we recently conducted revealed so much about what you love about CSI and what you want from us in the future. That research provided plenty of motivation to stay on this course of change, adaptation, and innovation. Your CSI Board of Directors, your fellow members, and member volunteers have been hard at work alongside your staff to create a new CSI that brings with it the best of who we are already. We have a clear sense of direction, and we are excited to share with you, with all of you, that because together we are CSI.
CSI served a unique role in the construction industry for 73 years, with a lot of heart, with much learning, and with the creation of credentials that are recognized and respected throughout the industry. We have been a community dedicated to creating a built environment that enables all of us to live and work enjoyably, safely, and productively. Each year, your board of directors revisits what we call ends statements, the highest priorities that CSI will focus on as we create our future. These end statements have given life to the 3 strategic directions that Mark and I talked about in our 2020 vision speech. Those 3 areas of focus remain the same: building a community of belonging, being a center for innovation, and elevating the profession. These are the building blocks of a rejuvenated CSI, and we want to talk about each of them briefly today. The first of these is what CSI has been doing since its inception in 1948, building a community of belonging. We've discovered 2 things about this in the past 2 years. First, while belonging remains a foundational part of CSI, we need to be more agile in the forms that kind of belonging can take. With in-person meetings off the table, we were well positioned to hold completely virtual meetings. What we learned from that experience will serve us well in the future. Although I must admit, it is awfully nice to be gathering with all of you in person today. True communities of belonging are inclusive. For the past year, your board has studied diversity, equity, and inclusion as it relates to the construction industry and to CSI in particular. We have studied what other organizations are doing around these issues, held focus groups to hear directly from CSI members, and looked specifically at the construction industry's work around these important issues. We have been great at being a community of belonging for people like us, but less so for people who are different from us, whether because of race, sexual orientation, education, disability, or many more dimensions of diversity. We can look around this room and see CSI is not as diverse as it can be in those ways, even though a diversity of professions are represented here. That professional diversity is necessary, but not sufficient. And we want to do something about that, starting with a newly adopted DE&I statement by the board. I'd like to read that statement for you because it is an important stake in the ground for CSI moving forward. Built for everyone, creating a better world through inclusion. CSI recognizes that the built environment impacts the health, safety, and welfare of millions around the world every day. To respond to the deep human needs of those different cultures and contexts, CSI seeks out and values every individual difference and contribution, promotes dignity and respect for all, continually increases its cultural competency and cultural humility, facilitates courageous conversations around diversity, equity, and inclusion in the construction industry and beyond. And CSI is inclusive by design. To bring this statement to life, in the next few weeks, you will be offered an opportunity to be part of a diverse working group of CSI members who will help us align our programs and services with this DE&I vision.
We know you, your organizations, and this industry will continue to need growth in the pool of qualified construction information and specifications professionals. This growth will have to come from groups of people who have not traditionally been part of this field or in CSI, and from groups that have been historically excluded. And this kind of growth is not just nice to have, it is vital, because it will fuel the financial engine that drives and sustains CSI and your own organizations. Just as hearths are the heart of the home, CSI must build this welcoming space for all to thrive. Addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion will make us all more agile, more responsive, more innovative, and more sustainable. It will provide the qualified professionals you need. The red building block you see on the screen denotes the warmth of community, the open and inclusive CSI we envision. Wherever and whoever they are, CSI members actively engage in knowledge sharing and networking at the national, regional, and local levels. And this is what makes CSI's community of belonging so strong. And we know that CSI regions and chapters need sufficient resources and support to provide real value to members. The priority on chapter and region support and community building set by the board led us to look closely at our chapter and region structures and make some changes to reinvigorate and provide more value for members across the country and around the world. Before we gathered in Nashville, you heard from board members, region leaders, and chapter leaders about plans to align all of our efforts more effectively to serve members. CSI heard from you about the need to make it easier to run a chapter, to create energized leaders, and make it easier to join. We have facilitated conversations with chapter leaders about how to promote chapters more effectively through the Dynamic Chapter Program. We've had dialogue about administrative support we provide each other and the need for intentional leadership development, such as the pilot program we conducted immediately before this meeting. And we've refreshed our shared agreements about how we serve each other. We've done all of this in support of chapters, regions, and most important, the CSI member. Because one key result of this work is that a CSI member is a CSI member. Joining means you have a passport into local chapters, no matter where you live or call home or where you travel. And it also means that CSI Next, our virtual chapter, now focuses on serving the international community. Because when we're successful locally, we're successful nationally. And when we're successful nationally, we are successful locally. We are one CSI serving members together. A program highlighted this philosophy from the perspective of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and also working with regions and chapters, is the Let's Build Construction Camp for Girls. Thank you to the Greater Lehigh Valley chapter for this important program that recognized early on that only 10% of those employed in this industry are women. This chapter partnered with the CSI Foundation to expand the Let's Build Construction Camp for Girls beyond its original boundaries. This pilot program is being replicated, meaning that your chapter has the opportunity to empower the next generation of builders too. By the way, if there are any folks from the Greater Lehigh Valley chapter or the pilot program reviewers in the audience, will you take a moment and stand and be recognized at this time?
As board chair, what I see is the clear design and construction of our future, and a place that provides value and connection to everyone in our field and our community. The second building block for CSI's future is our goal to be a center for innovation. We want to be a leading resource for everyone creating the built environment. We want to leverage research and thought leadership through the CSI Foundation. This image of an abstract book symbolizes the knowledge and information that is the core of CSI. We know there are three things we need to do our jobs well: information, experience, and wisdom. We want to walk that path from information to wisdom with you and for you, our members. It is the wisdom of members like you that our industry needs most. You are keeping our nation's built environment enjoyable, safe, accessible, and CSI wants to be your partner in that effort. CSI board priorities also include making sure that members have state-of-the-art building information and project delivery knowledge, and that the construction industry continues to recognize CSI as a leading resource for the built environment.
To meet these priorities set by the board, we will continue to fine-tune Crosswalk, which takes the standards developed by your colleagues and integrates them into design and construction software. Crosswalk is not something you buy. It is something that connects CSI standards to other industry standards, connects product information more readily, and enables software to stay current with CSI standards. This year, we've also taken the long overdue step to rejuvenate our standards development and task teams, beginning with master format, uniformat, and OmniClass. Specifications are more important and relevant than ever because they're baked into the core of any and every project, whether through traditional documents or the software that enables 3D printed buildings. Defining work processes and the needed construction products, and also bringing a project to life in concert with the owner's vision, and doing all of that on time, on budget, for the benefit of our communities, makes for an everlasting and compelling profession.
Innovation in the workplace challenges us to rethink traditional roles and even the definition of a specifier. Those entrusted to develop specifications may be a product researcher, a design professional, a contractor, or any number of other professionals, and it is our responsibility to help them all navigate the jobs to be done. The final element of our new building is our is for CSI to continue to elevate the profession. We hear you. We hear that you want CSI to be even more respected in the construction industry, and you want us to raise the importance of the whole profession. This blue symbol represents the potential of that elevation, reaching for the sky and looking towards the future. Your peers, your board of directors, envision a revitalized CSI that makes you proud. A CSI that builds on the foundation set in 1948 and reaches new heights for you. In all we do, we want to help you realize your full professional potential.
So thinking about this biggest priority, summarized as be all you can be and let CSI help you get there, we hope you will agree we are on the right path. Here are a few highlights of what we've accomplished this year. We've deepened relationships with the American Institute of Architects and the National Institute of Building Sciences, among others, and are leading discussions about the future of the industry. Online communities continue to grow, creating and strengthening relationships nationally and internationally. Over 6,000 unique users have taken advantage of a CSI learning library that did not exist 2 years ago. Half of those who sign up for the CDT are new to CSI. All 4 CSI exams were thoroughly researched, revised, relaunched, along with remote testing and new practice guides and study materials, resulting in higher achievement and success than we've seen in many years. The Certified Construction Product Representative has been reimagined to stack on top of the CDT and cover new ground. This exam registration reopens in October. 2 out of 3 of you tell us the value received from membership exceeds the dues investment. More of you are watching videos and reading blog posts published by CSI, developed by and for you. Over 300 of you have volunteered to serve on national committees and task teams. Far more of you volunteer to support your region and chapter. The Dynamic Chapter Program helps chapter and region leaders grow their chapters. 70% of CSI chapters that experienced membership growth in 2020 and 2021 were all DCP trained. And then there's this national conference. It was a dream 6 months ago, and we've gone from a dream to a reality in 6 months, and we are all so glad you are here with us today. This is a great start, but there is so much more to be done as we make CSI increasingly relevant in a fast-changing environment.
To meet this vision of creating a deeper sense of community, being a center for innovation, and elevating the profession, based on research and focus groups with members and non-members alike, your board enthusiastically authorized a new brand for CSI. This important first step is not merely a new logo or a new look, but a new way of thinking about who we are and what we do. We need a brand that speaks to the dynamic process of the construction industry, that puts the achievements of our members front and center, and is bold, contemporary, and focused on the future of CSI and its important role in the built environment. From now on, you will increasingly see these concepts in the way we talk about CSI and the industry, and you will see them in the way we look. To embody this change, our logo will move from this to this. Of course, there is no way, at least no good way, to represent the totality of the construction industry in a literal symbol. Our new abstract mark is not only colorful, beautiful, and unique, it is also has a feel that suggests designing, building, and celebrating the built environment. As important, It represents the process of construction itself, how building block leads to building block and discovery leads to discovery. CSI's new graphic identity dramatically underscores one of our key goals for this rebranding effort. We will increasingly be putting the spotlight on you, our members, on your work, and the ways in which you are changing the world for the better.
This fresh start gives us an opportunity to celebrate the history of the CSI acronym and name, and to build a new future together. Your CSI staff is honored to support you and help in the construction of a new CSI that we can all support and improve, one region, one chapter, and one member at a time together.
As we emerge from this watershed moment, we know we all need to tell a new story about the Construction Specifications Institute and about the construction industry itself. We will tell a story of exploration, innovation, inclusion, and impact, about a community of construction professionals who are creating enjoyable, productive, safe, and accessible future, benefiting humanity. We are just getting started. Let's get to work. Thank you again for being here in Nashville for this launch of the renewed CSI. Before you leave, we have a few surprises for you. In the bags being handed out by CSI staff, you'll find a CSI pin featuring our brand new logo. For those of you who are longtime members, you can add this to your collection and be a beacon of both our past and our future.
You'll also find in the bag some additional goodies with the new CSI logo that we hope you'll enjoy. For those of you interested, we'll have a Q&A with Marvin Kemp and myself, which will start in 10 minutes in this very room. But thank you for being here today, and we look forward to celebrating with you tonight at CSI Celebrates. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
As Mark said, please join the CSI Board Chair, Marvin Kemp, and CSI CEO, Mark Dorsey, in this room for an open Q&A that will start in approximately 10 minutes.